So this is the first call for the 30-day post-holiday detox. And so I just want to welcome everybody to the call. And for those of you who couldn't make it, that's why we're recording it. So we're just going to go over kind of the basics of this program. And some of you have participated in this program before, and we're just giving it a different name because throughout the holidays and everything, we all eat stuff that we shouldn't, and we are vacationing and we're traveling, and our neighbors bring us, warm cookies from the oven, and you just can't say no. So anyway, this is in hopes to kind of get rid of the Christmas calories and just start off the new year right with a clear mind and, eating as healthy as we can to help eliminate some of our problems that we have. And we all have little things that I call little red flags of inflammatory response kind of being present in our bodies. So we'll kind of go through that and what that all means and everything else. But I just want to start off to be clear, this is the Transform 30. We're just incorporating these classes every Tuesday evening and a little bit more than normal than you would get just, if you joined any month of the year. So if you join this month, this is the best month for you to join so that you can get fully educated and get all of these tips and tricks and everything. So the Transform 30, there is no calorie restriction. I've had a lot of people ask, how many calories should I be consuming and everything else like that. This is different than a typical diet. This is not a diet. This is a cleanse. It's a detox of our systems. So we're more about putting the good, dense nutrition in rather than counting the calories that we would be eating on a normal basis. So with that being said, our shakes are calorically pretty low. So even, having the 2 shakes a day and one really good meal and a couple snacks, your caloric intake is not going to be that high. But with that being said, if you're a real active individual, I'm really active. A lot of my clients, on the days you work out with me, you're really active, need some extra calories to burn. If you are hungry on this, you eat, period, the end. That is, that's the deal. So if you start to get that hunger pain, I want something in your mouth, preferably something good. So that's where these snack ideas and stuff are going to come in. But if you're hungry, I want you eating. That's your body's way of telling you, yes, we're speeding up your metabolism. Yes, we're going to burn these calories. We're going to burn the calories, hopefully, of fat. So that's what we want to train your body to do. So if we are hungry and we eat when we're hungry, our body is going to be reprogrammed. That's what this program is set up to do, kind of reprogram the way your body works and get it out of what's called fight or flight response. And you guys have maybe heard that in the past before. But that just means your body's kind of struggling to decide rather, we're in a famine because you're not feeding us, or rather we're under attack from all the bad things that we're feeding our bodies. So with that being said, we want our bodies to really feel like we're feeding really good food into our system so that we hit what's called homeostasis. When we're in homeostasis, our body just kind of relaxes and says, okay, cool, she's gonna feed me, and she's gonna feed me something good. And I know that, I can burn these extra calories of fat off at the gym because I don't need to hang on to them because she's gonna feed me next time I'm hungry. So that's kind of where the calorie restriction thing in the past, it works for a short duration, but then your body goes into that fight or flight state and you rebound, you have a bounce back. That's why this program is so different. You won't have a bounce back after doing it. Assuming that we're changing this hopefully into a lifestyle change, assuming that you feel so good after these 30 days that you're going to want to stick to some of these habits that you've created over the past 30 days. So to make it easy, we're going to consume 2 shakes a day. I always say do 2 snacks, again, so that we're not getting hungry, and 1 really well-balanced meal, all that are gluten and dairy free. And I have a couple people that are going super hardcore and going to eliminate meat in the process as well. So I have never personally done it where I eliminate meat, but I've had a couple clients that have gotten on a plateau where, they're doing this and then all of a sudden it's not working. So we have to budget a little bit more, push you over the edge a little more, and eliminating meat even for just a week does that, eliminating animal protein from your system. So anyway, if you want to be super hardcore, by all means, please do. I'm not that hardcore, so I will not be eliminating meat, but I'll be doing the 2 shakes a day and the gluten and dairy free, and probably 2 meals because I'm pregnant. So no calorie restriction, remember? So anyway, gluten and dairy, why is it so important that we take these out of our system for a little duration? Our body reacts as if it's a toxin entering our system when we eat gluten and dairy. So what happens is our body automatically hits that like fight or flight, like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Do I need to store this in a fat cell? How do I digest it? I'm gonna try and digest it, and gosh, I don't know what this is, because dairy and gluten, gluten particularly, has been so genetically modified, our body doesn't recognize it anymore. And one of the homeworks, if you guys want to see kind of what that looks like, look up what a genetically modified wheat field looks like, and look up what a non-genetically modified wheat field looks like. Wheat is really tall, 6 feet off the ground. The genetically modified one, maybe 3 feet. I would say maybe even 2 feet. When you look at the picture, it's really crazy. But what that does to the inside of our system is we don't know what it is. It's been so genetically modified, our body reacts in that fight or flight stance. So although gluten is very yummy, and I like my fresh baked French bread as much as everybody else, eliminating it for a little while makes it so that our body can handle that response a little bit more. And same thing with dairy. A lot of different hormones are in there. They try and keep the cow lactating for longer than they should be, and so forth. So a lot of it's modified, and our bodies simply don't recognize it. So really important to cut that out. The other thing is, inflammation in our body is the stem of all disease. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're dealing with something as simple as a canker sore. Okay, or like my instance was acne that I had all over my face. Those are both signs of inflammation, but so is an autoimmune disease. So is something as severe as cancer, as rheumatoid arthritis, as any possible thing that you can think of stems from inflammatory response in our body. So if we eliminate the inflammation for just a little bit, I'm asking you to do it for 30 days. If we can kind of keep disease at bay, this is the easiest way to do it, through nutrition. So a lot of people say, oh, if I had a slip up 15 days in, what does that do? Well, we're trying to get your body to be in this homeostasis state, right? So if your body's going along and it's like, okay, cool, she's feeding me when I'm hungry, she's not implementing any inflammatory foods into her body, she's feeding me only good stuff, I'm getting 32 different fruits and vegetables in my body every day by consuming the gummies or capsules, and I'm chill, like I'm reaching homeostasis, I'm agreeing with you, and then all of a sudden I have Italian. I always use Italian because that's one of my weaknesses. I am Italian, and when you do Italian, you got to have it right. Like, you got to have the bread, you got to do the lasagna, the cheese, the whole kit and caboodle, right? Or I just wouldn't eat Italian because it's just not good if you don't do the whole kit and caboodle. So anyway, needless to say, let's say I have Italian 15 days into this 30-day challenge. My body, when it's almost saying like, okay, I'm cool, like I don't need to fight or flight anymore, all of a sudden it feels attacked and ambushed, like, oh my gosh, she ate lasagna, and I need to fight or flight again. So your body is less reluctant to hit that homeostasis state where your body would fully detox, it would let go of the toxins, let go of fat cells and everything else. So even though calorically it would only be one dinner or one mess up as far as the diet would go, we're trying to get your body to move into a different state. We're trying to reprogram. So that is why it is so incredibly important for 30 days. Just wrap your head around it. Don't have that mid-month break or anything else. See what 30 days can do, because 30 days is different than 15 days, even if you have a small little break with a couple different bad meals in between. So Next, I want to give you some ideas, like if you are feeling hungry or you're feeling deprived, which you shouldn't on this, like these are hearty meals that we can eat. So if you have a pen and paper, you're taking notes, I'm going to give you guys some of my favorite like gluten and dairy-free recipe ideas, anywhere from snacks to meals to anything else. But before we move on, does anybody have any questions on like what gluten and dairy do in our system, what homeostasis means, and why it's so important to eliminate those things from our diet for 30 days? Everyone has it down pat? Okay. And if you come up with a question later on, that's fine too. So,
Lindsay, one question real quick. So the dairy, I know that the gluten is inflammatory process, but tell me what the dairy is again real quick.
Dairy is the same issue.
Okay.
The same exact thing. I just have a better example for gluten.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, dairy doesn't just come, I mean, we are the only human, well, not the only humans. We are the only animals that drink dairy beyond a baby state. Like it's not meant for us to be consuming throughout our adult lives. It's just not natural. You know, it's kind of like if us as adults were nursing other adults like that, you know, it just isn't natural. I mean, gross, but I mean, equivalent, right? Like milk comes from a pregnant cow. We shouldn't be consuming that as adults. Okay, and
hormones
made from that and everything, and all the hormones, because they keep the cow lactating longer than it should, and everything else. So, Emily, do you have a better explanation on that by chance? Since you're on here, I don't know if you can talk at all, but. And these are the questions that if we write down to get more specifics, Dr. Mitra Ray will actually be on the call next week, and she'll be able to go like doctor in depth with some of these things. Emily, do you have something?
What were you asking? The reason for no dairy?
Yeah.
Correct.
I think my music's playing. Sorry, I was like, whose music's playing? I was like, it's yours. Okay. You know what? Your answer is really pretty good. I mean, the flat answer is that there's no other mammals that drink milk past feeding their young. We're the only ones.
But you know that, I mean, dairy and vitamin D and, you know, obviously for the stomach, taking yogurt, like all of those things are staples of a lot of people. So trying to get people to understand this.
Those.
You know, trying to get people to understand this is difficult, because those are like, you need it for your stomach and you need to drink milk for the calcium for your bones, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. You know, well, I'm paleo, and I have been paleo for almost 5 years, and that's what I teach everybody. And so I get it. So dairy is the hardest one for people to let go. It is really not that high in nutrients as everybody thinks it is. We get more calcium. Broccoli has more calcium, protein, and almost anything you can imagine than dairy or meat. I am pro meat. I'm actually anti grains, because I think rice and all of those things, they cause because they're all modified, just like we're talking about modified wheat. So is all the rice, and so is all that. So, I mean, that's just the way it is today. And they cause autoimmune disease, because like Lindsay was saying, when we put those things into our body fights them, because it is what I'm looking for. It is an alien, you know, it's
like a toxin. It's a foreign object entering into our system. Very similar to the example I was going to use is and everybody can probably you resonate with this example. If you've ever taken a multivitamin and your pee is Mountain Dew yellow.
Yeah.
That's a tail sign that like toxin, warning, get it out of your system, right? And it's almost immediate. Like you take a multivitamin, sure enough, the next time you pee, it is neon yellow. So if our body could show inflammation like multivitamin, that's how it would show up. But it's showing up in autoimmune disease, in anything. I mean, it's showing up in migraine headaches, in acne, in in our immune system being compromised, us being sick, anything you can think of stems from inflammatory response usually.
Yeah, and so I hear like whoever the young lady was that was saying it's hard to pass this on to people, you know, the dairy. It is. Like you tell people to take away their gluten or their dairy, and I mean, you might as well wage war against them. It is very personal to them. It's a very comforting place, and there's a huge world of like unknown. Like, what do they eat without it? Most people eat bagels and cream cheese. Most people eat grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Everybody eats a sandwich, and they don't realize that the bread, they think that they need the bread to deliver all the stuff inside. And it's really like, that's the part that's harming them. Mm-hmm. So the thing that is good about this program is saying, okay, 30 days, commit to it for 30 days. And you're trying to let them have an experience, and they don't have to be perfect. You know, so I mean, and so that's the same way when I do paleo with people. I'm like, I do 21 days because it's more graspable, but whatever, you know, I mean, so you're just like guiding them through. At least it's like, can you go a week, you know, and offering them substitutes. Sorry, I have a baby that's
yeah, and one of the things, I mean, that you bring up, Emily, is that, yeah, most people eat gluten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So not only are we just implementing these inflammatory things into our bodies every once in a while, but it's at every meal. I mean, even salad dressings have gluten in them or dairy in them. So on every single meal that people usually have, they're putting this foreign object into their body. And so when you become so immersed in like your toxicity load in your body being so high, your body starts to react, and these little red flags start to raise up, right? So my red flag was acne. My other red flag was pregnancy. And we all have little red flags. A red flag could be migraine headaches, could be brain fog, could be arthritis. I mean, you name it. Those are all of our red flags, like screaming inflammation in our body. So when we eliminate it for a duration, your body doesn't react so sensitively to it. So for me, I used to probably eat gluten and have a reaction right away. Like I would have a turkey sandwich, and right away I would notice a breakout on my skin. And after I eliminated it for quite some time, I can have gluten here and there now and not have such a reaction. So that's kind of the whole goal behind eliminating it for a little duration. Do you have to live like this forever? No. Would it be great for you to live like this forever? Yes. I don't have enough willpower to live like that forever, but to be cautious about it in everyday life really makes a huge impact on your life. Which is kind of the whole reason I've become an advocate of preaching this. So that makes sense, hopefully.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love answering the questions because then I know where you guys are coming from. So it's good. So recipe ideas. What are some easy things that you guys can throw together in an everyday world to do this? So one of the things, I don't know if you guys saw that I uploaded the all vegan recipe book onto the website. Shannon, actually, I have one printed off for you because it's your Christmas present.
Yay!
So if you're my personal training client, I printed it off for you and everything as well. But I did upload that, so know that anybody can print it out, but I put it in a nice binder, 3-ring binder, so you guys can add to it, so you guys can add these recipe ideas that I'm telling you tonight into your book. But I just want to make this as easy as possible, like no brainer. And so you don't feel like you're being deprived, and there is a comfortable place, like Emily had said, without gluten and dairy, right? So one of my favorites, and if you're one of my clients on here, you've already heard me say this, but it is my favorite, okay? So I get gluten-free penne pasta, and it has to be quinoa pasta. Okay, it means there's protein actually in the pasta, but no gluten. And it's one of the pastas that's not all soggy and mushy. So you do have to play with the whole like gluten-free pasta thing, but the penne gluten-free pasta I have found doesn't taste any different usually than a regular pasta. Heartland is a really good gluten-free brand, Heartland, and it's usually a like yellow and blue package. So I get penne pasta, I'll cook it on the stove. I throw that in with tossed romaine lettuce, okay? And I also will do like grilled chicken in there. And I actually just grill my chicken right on my stove, especially in the winter. I don't go fire up the grill or anything. But I marinate it in Italian dressing, just like balsamic vinegar, some Italian spices, and some olive oil. Okay, and I'll cook the chicken in that, and that'll be my salad dressing as well. But then you can throw bell peppers, cucumbers, hard-boiled eggs, tomatoes. You throw whatever you want in there, and toss it. And I usually toss it before, like maybe a half hour before I eat it, because everything marinates in the Italian herbs and dressing and stuff like that. And it is absolutely delicious, to die for, satisfying. It fills you up. You don't feel like you're eating just a salad, because there is some pasta in there, but it's gluten-free. So somebody had asked me if eggs are dairy-free, and yes, eggs are fine. So we're talking about anything that comes from a cow, right? So eggs come from a chicken, so we're good there. And those are a great source of protein as well, especially if you are doing the whole eliminating wheat thing. So that's one of my staples. That's something that you can cook today, and it's still great and yummy tomorrow. Put the dressing on it tomorrow if you're going to eat it tomorrow. Another thing is like fajitas or tacos. You can still have corn tortillas or corn chips on this. Okay. So I brown like turkey, or you can do beef in whatever seasoning you desire, just on the stove, and throw that in with some lettuce. And, I do salsa, guacamole, you name it, throw it into a big salad, or you can do a corn tortilla. So that's really good. And you can do that with grilled chicken or something like that as well. So, we're not talking about being deprived here. Like, these are all really great, wonderful meals. We're just talking about eating healthy, right? Like, these recipes aren't anything fancy, right? They're not a million ingredients other than however many vegetables you want to put in there. So, you can do baked pork chops and quinoa with broccoli, or your choice of vegetable. I also marinate my pork chops in balsamic vinegar and Italian herbs and stuff. It's delicious. And quinoa is kind of like a rice, like a protein rice supplement. Not supplement, but like better than just like white rice. A lot more nutrients in it. And then one of my favorite things lately, and my husband ate these green beans like they were French fries. That's how good they were, which is cool. But I put, you warm up a cookie sheet in the oven, and in a bag I put a little bit of olive oil, sea salt, and a little bit of garlic, and mixed it all up, let the beans kind of sit in the olive oil a little bit, and then put that onto a hot cookie sheet and sprinkled it again with a little bit of sea salt, and comes out delicious. And I do the fresh green beans for that. So that's really easy. You can throw that in the oven. And if you really get down to it, you can have steak and potatoes on this. So, we're talking about a lot of meal ideas. Anybody else have like another favorite staple? Maybe you've done this before and you have something to add to my list of favorites. All right.
I have a question for
an
idea. Does anyone have a suggestion for a substitute for like a ham and turkey sandwich?
Me, I'm a sandwich kind of girl, but I have decided I do not like any gluten-free bread. So I just choose to eliminate it, unfortunately. With sandwiches, you can do kind of a lettuce wrap if you want. put lettuce on the outside of the lunch meat and whatnot. But that's my best. They do have some pretty good gluten-free tortillas, but I just give up the gluten-free bread altogether. Has anybody found a gluten-free bread they think is wonderful?
Sorry, my phone died, so I'm back.
No worries. Do you have a gluten-free bread that you like, Em?
So the whole point is to get away from that. It's finding a way to eat clean and healthy and to realize that we don't need a vehicle to deliver our nutrients. So a lettuce wrap is good. Yes, like how do we hold it all together? Lettuce wrap.
She was just asking if there was a good alternative for, like she likes a turkey sandwich. I do too, but I decided I don't like any gluten-free bread. I think it's gross. So I just get rid of it entirely, but she was asking.
Most of it's filled with some pretty wicked stuff too that you don't really, like it may be gluten-free, but what are you eating?
Right.
So you might as well just eat the gluten. It's just kind of like, what's the point? I did find gluten-free pasta that isn't so bad because for my child who insists on eating pasta. But,
and what kind of gluten-free did you find? Because I just said that I found the Heartland quinoa pasta that I really like. Do you have another suggestion?
Yep, that's not bad. And Ronzini, I think. It's right in my cupboard. I want to get it.
Okay, perfect. Ronzini. And risotto is pretty good too, you guys. That usually says made in Italy, and it's more of like the size of rice, but it's risotto.
Oh, it's backwards.
No, it's forward on our end.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So jot that one down.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then rice noodles, of course, and then a lot of times they'll make like tortillas. There's spelt, which is like a whole sprouted, and it's not bad. Or corn tortillas, so you can eat corn.
Right.
A lot of times they make them out of tapioca flour too, or like a coconut flour for more sweet or baking type things.
Right.
I think you're better off with something like that versus just a gluten-free, like that they're just like making a substitute for a gluten, like finding something that is more clean.
Well, and I had just listed a couple, like while your phone was dead, I had just listed a couple, oh, he's saying hi. I had just listed a couple of my favorite recipes that are gluten and dairy free. Do you have a favorite at all?
For me?
Yeah.
Just like in general?
Yeah, like favorite, easy, throw together, not complicated recipe.
Yeah, I'll put some on the group too. But my favorite, I did post pictures of the two of them. The one is a taco seasoned, and you could do that with turkey, beef, chicken, whatever. And then I cut up a bunch of bell peppers and onions. And
so Emily likes the same exact thing I did. Yeah, I just said the same thing.
For me, and then the other one is like a crock pot chicken. I put in the chicken, put onions, bell peppers, and you can make it, with any kind of seasoning you want. If you want to make it taco or if you want to put tomato sauce or whatever. I don't feel like I don't eat any type of meal. If I want tacos, I eat them just without sour cream and the shell.
Right.
And if I want pasta, I eat, zucchini noodles.
Right. Yeah, that's a great option too.
Yeah. Can be kind of like hardcore, and people are like, I don't want to go that far. And you don't. The one thing I wanted to say, that's why I wanted to log back in real quick, was I love how it talks about one simple change. Because you don't have to go cold turkey on everything right away, all 30 days. It's not going to happen. It took me a long time to get at the level of where I eat now.
Yeah. He's trying to say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely it's one step at a time, you know. It's just, and for those of you who are not familiar with Emily, she's another personal trainer. So I really appreciate your input also coming into this, because yeah, we're all in this together, and it is small steps as we move along, just like it would be if you were coming in to do a workout with us for the first time, right? We're not going to like put you in like Olympic style lifts and have you run a marathon your first workout with us. We're going to start slow and steady. So that is why I love this program, because there aren't so many guidelines that it's overwhelming at all for it. So a couple, you know, I had mentioned that I also usually do a couple snacks throughout the day as well. Just some easy ones. I do like an apple and peanut butter or almond butter, veggies and hummus, a handful of almonds. A lot of people have mentioned like they just absolutely love yogurt, and that's really hard for them to give up. Well, they have a coconut milk yogurt now that is absolutely delicious. It's every bit as yummy as the other yogurt and everything else, and it's called So Delicious, like S-O Delicious. It's really easy. It's black and white, not a fancy label or anything, and you can get it just at King Soopers, Alberts. I mean, it doesn't matter where you shop, they probably have it. And Emily actually introduced me to the coconut milk whipped cream, which is just amazing. I'm just saying, if you have a sweet tooth at all and need something on this, like strawberries and that coconut whipped cream, amazing. If you need like a little bit in your coffee for your creamer or on your tea or whatever, absolutely delicious and follows the guidelines of all this. So again, just a few little things to get you through this. It's nice to know that these things exist. And if you really want to get in depth into it, yes, we're going to have Dr. Mitra Ray on the call next week. So she is going to be open for question and answers, and she's the one who invented this program. So she's very gracious to be able to get on here with us, you know, next week. But in the meantime, if you want to watch her 20-minute webinar, she literally goes through like why we need a daily detox, and she explains the toxins in our food and how our world is polluted and the polluted rainwater's our food, and she goes through it. So I will be posting the link on our page, our 30-day detox page. So if you would like to watch that 20-minute webinar, you don't even have to watch it. You can put an earbud in and drive home or whatever, listening to it. It's just a YouTube video. That you can do that to get a little bit more information. The more informed you are on this, the easier it becomes. But the whole purpose of tonight was just kind of go through and make this like easier for you guys to wrap your head around. So with that being said, I'm just going to open it up for question and answers. And then I'll let you guys be on with your night. And like I said, this is recorded, and I'm going to continue recording until we're done with questions, because somebody who might listen to this later might have your same question or anything. So does anybody have any other questions? Or comments? And the only other thing I want to throw in, if someone's thinking of questions, is one thing we do want to do is try and work out on this too. I just assume that because I'm a trainer that you're going to be, you know, working out, but if you're not one of my clients and you're not in this state, I mean, we have people that are all the way in Seattle on this call right now. I want you to make sure that you're trying to work out at least 2 times a week, if not more. So my goal is always 3 days a week. So wrap your head around like being active on this as well, because it will just help further the detox process. All right, any questions at all, guys? Oh, it looks like somebody put in the chat. Oh, Ken, you're welcome. Thank you for hopping on. All right, if there's no more questions, I'm going to stop the recording and